Jessica, can we stop the recording? Yes, and
So, folks, good morning from Brazil. I don't know what time is it where you are exactly, but I hope you are all very well today. I'd like to start thanking Jessica and all the Let's Connect team for organizing, for the invitation one more time, for the generosity with which you've been supporting us for a long time since the Calibra project. Let's Connect. I think we can say we are siblings. Like since the beginning of our process, we've been taking from the sources that you've been giving us, and we've been counting on the support from Jessica's support, and this helped us shape and design our program. So, what is Calilu, and what do we do in this project? Calilu, as I commented before, comes from Calibra. Calibra was a skill building program for Brazilian leaders. It was started in 2022 when our community did some research, and we realized that we needed to develop leaderships, but leadership in a very strategic way, in the sense that we needed to have people available and with capacity to take on roles, central roles in the implementation, the deployment of the strategy, the movement strategy in the Brazilian community. So we had something designed at a global level, but we didn't have a strategic process outlined at the community level, in the Lusophone uh, level. So Brazil, Portugal, and other countries from the Lusophone community, and also at the Brazilian level, at the local level. So we started this project of leadership capacity building. The first step for this project was WikiCon Brazil in 2022. That was the first meeting of the Brazilian community, the first national meeting that we had, in which we had the opportunity to host it. In 2022, the WikiCon Brazil 2022, we did two activities. One was a questionnaire. I think Chila Capelleto. I don't know if you met Chila. She is a beloved friend of ours, and she helped us shape and answer this questionnaire. In this questionnaire, people were asked what were the skills they had to offer, what were the things they wanted to do, what were the topics of interest that they had, the things they wanted, the skills they wanted to develop, what did they have to offer to the community. And we also collected their contact information so we could move forward with this capacity building process. On the top left, you can see an activity in which actor also participated. It was an activity in which uh, it was something that we are going to do later on this session. They brought some ideas for projects, and the idea was to form pairs, and one person from the idea was that every person could understand how they collaborate, even if the projects were very different, even if the projects at first didn't relate to each other. And below, we can see an activity in which we had a discussion with the participants about what what does it mean to be a leadership in the Brazilian community, and what can we think in a regional perspective. As you can see in the map, this is the Brazilian map. Brazil is a very large country. It is a continent-sized country. So we have states or even cities that have the same population of entire countries in Europe. So we do have a very big country that goes from south to north, basically. So we had a big inequality in terms of resource distribution, a very great social inequality. So we thought of doing a program that could represent this diversity that we have in Brazil. And here we have the distribution of our programs when we did this capacity building program. So we developed a capacity program that could cater to everyone, geographically speaking, and something that was very flexible in the way. So we wanted to design them in a way that we could iterate, adapt, and try, especially in a leadership perspective. That wasn't something. Let's think of the ideal Wikimedian and let's build their capacities. No, actually, we thought, what do we already have in the community? Who are the people who are already doing activities, and how can we strengthen these people's activities so they become the Wikimedians they want to become? Let's leverage what we already have and build on that. Once we implemented the project, we had the opportunity to receive two people that are here today. They are from Guinea-Bissau, and we started some kind of exchange program. So this was no longer a Brazilian thing, and actually a Portuguese-speaking initiative at a larger level. So this way, Calibra, which is Brazilian in nature, it started to spread through the Lusophone community. The result of this process, it was a capacitation in Wiki and education. The participants developed projects. The idea was that until the end of the project, they would develop a project, and in the next moment of this program, they would implement, deploy this project. So what did they do? They identified the collaborative solution of problems. What could we do? What did we need to develop these? And then we outlined the objectives, the goals, the metrics for this project. And then later, we did a SWOT analysis, a risk analysis. The development of this project led to some feedback. The idea was not only to build and implement projects, but also to take part of each other's projects. So as they did the project, the idea was to create a network around this project so they could understand how to collaborate with each other. Here, it is important to say that by the end of the program, some people were not able to finish their projects. Others finished their projects much earlier than others. But what we tried to do was for people to, even if they couldn't finish their projects, that their task was to think of their colleagues' projects, so we could build a network, because we blocked, let's say, any competition possibility between participants, or at least we decreased this possibility because we wanted to do what we wanted to do so other projects could happen. Well, here are some projects that happened, some activities that were developed from our work. So we have photographic walks, like this one to the left, this one from Dandara, a lab, Indigenous Women in Wikipedia, which is a lab that happened during the process. So This was a subject in a history course. I mean, somebody from a history course, they helped us with that. We had a seminary, an online seminary in support of Rio Grande do Sul, which is a state in Brazil that went through severe flooding in 2024. So we took the opportunity to bring this to the academia. We have the linguistics of Olympiad that Arthur take part in. They're going to comment these projects later. I'm not going to spoil this now. So once the project was implemented, we invested in the development of networks. So how could we keep people active and collaborating in this process? So we started to promote some meetings for people for us to build some communities. One of the best things about this meeting was that in this carnival meeting, we invited the participants to come with costumes. Mileni is this one with the red glasses. She had the best costume from our meeting. And from that, we started to now entering the Calilu. We started to expand this network. So it was not only Brazilian, but actually Lusophones. So one of the things we started to do was activities with Braima and Laécia from Guinea-Bissau. So we have this editathon about popular culture in Guinea-Bissau. We had a very good participation of people from Guinea-Bissau. We created a lot of articles, and now Guinea-Bissau is hosting a lot of activities. These are very interesting people, very nice people that we collaborate with them, and we hope you can talk to them as well later. Now, finishing my presentation, this was the carnival for this year, so we were able to amplify the network and bring in more people. You can see that that the costumes also were diversified, more diverse. We have more complex costumes. People gave more thought to what we were going to do. Tulio came dressed as Tulio. So as much as he looks dressed, this is actually how he dressed up daily because he lives in a van, a combi, a Volkswagen combi. And well, we also started to amplify this project of bringing more people and hosting more activities. And finishing here, we started to think of, in terms of network, what would we do? A request from participants was that we started to do something, a joint initiative. So instead of thinking of individual projects, we wanted to find a common project. So we decided to write a brochure focused on supporting people who want to organize initiatives in the Wikimedia platforms. We did some strategic discussions and workshops on how to edit collaboratively and how to make broader content. And we ended up with this brochure. It was released 1 week ago at WikiCon Brazil 2025. And these are some participants in WikiCon Brazil. We did this joint initiative to teach people how to analyze risks for editathons and photograph walks. These are our whole group. This is our whole group in the activity. And here also our participants. These are the people who participated in Calibra, and then they went to WikiCon. This is very interesting because we're able to realize how Calibra participants occupied nearly 40% of the event in terms of activities. So 40% of the activities in WikiCon Brazil 2025 were from participants from Calibra. So we did build a network of people with capacities, skilled people that are there working while as a community, and a some news that you didn't know of. Our project is finishing. So Calilu, this is our last Calilu project. Friday next week, we're going to finish the project. And what's coming up is the build network, which is called Organize, which translates as organize. This is the title of our brochure. The idea is that now participants, me and Adriani, we are in a network, a volunteer network of people who organize things. Thinking of Portuguese-speaking people, this was my presentation. Just a side note, organize is should be understood as organizing in imperative mode. Okay. So thank you very much, people. I'm now open for questions. Obrigado, Jéssica. Yeah. Brandon, do you want to ask a question? Thank you for the opportunity. Actually, I don't know if it is like a with question, but we thank because we are a living example of what Calilu has been doing since Calibra until it became Calilu. We've been working for over 2 years. We are we were born out of Calilu basically. So we wanted to thank this project, this such a special project. The thing is that one suggestion is that with the experience that we had in the Brazilian community, there are events. I don't know if we lost it in the past, but I think there are events that we could be hosted simultaneously. For example, some events in Calilu in Brazil could be hosted simultaneously with Portugal, Angola, Guinea, and other Lusophone countries. This could give the network even bigger visibility. I don't know if I feel that we from the Lusophone community could be doing much more things that we've been doing. So in terms of mobilizing more volunteers for our communities, the thing the concern I want to raise now is that we have a more advanced vision of organize. We cannot only think of some events that could happen simultaneously, leveraging the Brazilian experience, so this could be replicated in other countries as well. Thank you. I think Chino has a question as well about some of the challenges, and then we're going to finish with this question, and we can go back to other questions by the end of the session.
Thanks, Jessica. I'll quickly take 30 seconds. This is a question to you, Lucas. So overall, what I understood from your presentation and the execution of the project, it's quite fresh. It started in 2022, 2023, and it's just 2 years, and you have already achieved something which is substantially an example for rest of the world. So what has been your biggest challenge in terms of execution and managing the people around you? I mean, how did you prioritize your things, or what would you give as a best practice, top 3 things from your experience? Thank you, Lucas. It was helpful.
Yes.
Yes, Jessica.
Yes, Jessica, excuse me. Is an individual project for each person or is in a group? Okay. Thank you.
Hola, everyone. We're in the main room. I'll give it like a minute for everyone to go into someone's phone's vibrating. I think that was BB's. Um, we're gonna just give a minute or two for people to go into their rooms. But in the meantime, we are gonna be in the same Padlet that Jessica had showcased. So this is the link that I put in the chat. If you are using your phone, all good. If you are on your computer, all good as well. So for those who are going to be staying in this main room with me and the interpreters, please maybe I should share my screen actually. Can everyone see my screen? Amazing. Okay. So with the palette, I'm actually not sure which ones have been put in from other groups or not, but in the meantime, I also welcome you to come off mic and discuss the project that you are a part of or want to create. If you're kind of like in the brainstorming dream phase of like, oh, I want to do this. This is something I'm interested in doing, or I've heard about this. Please come off mic. No need to raise your hand. Or if you would prefer just to put it in the chat. Ideally in the Padlet. So remember, you can come to this circle on your screen and click add, and then you can write the title of your project here. Link to any meta page that you have, or wiki page that you have that's to the project if you are already a part of one, or even a link of something that inspires you of why you would want to do a project. That's also, I also welcome that as well. It doesn't have to be Wikimedia related. It could be another space movement that inspires you and something that maybe would you would want to bring into the wiki space. The ones that are already popping up. Oh, I'm interested to hear who is doing the medic tree campaign. Oh, medicinal trees. That's actually really sweet. The one put in at the bottom, the most recent one is Wiki Love Letters. Love that. Are we talking about handwritten letters? Because that would be exciting. Oops. I have to remember that if I change my screen, everyone's seeing the screen. We have WikiFlix, which is developing a tool where a user can see videos like a reel or YouTube short scrolling style. Oh, I like that. That's actually would be nice to, is that a current tool right now? I need some testers. I need some policy advice regarding what we can keep, what we cannot. How can I go to the room in Portuguese? Let me see. I don't know if Jessica's in the room. I need to see where the breakout rooms are. A- Adrian, let me see if I can move you right now. There you are. Assigned to Hector. Okay, I think you should be able to go now. Okay. If anyone else wants to go to a different room, for the interpretation, English only, Portuguese, please let me know. This is the room for Arabic, French, and I think that's it, and English. Someone at the bottom said, if you are a Wikipedian, ask your family too. Ask your parents to contribute on Wiki as they have extensive knowledge. I would love to ask my parents, but my parents are not the most tech savvy people, and it's kind of hard to get them. I need to walk them to how to use the computer first. So I need to start there before I talk about Wiki. Feel free to you can also put your ideas in the chat. I welcome that as well. It doesn't have to be the Padlet. Hi, Jessica. I'm just reading off some of the great ideas.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to be doing this presentation. I'm very grateful for be doing this with Tulio, who was a great friend since Calibra. We didn't only form a network of collaboration, but also a very important friendship network. As I was commenting, recently we had WikiCon. It was a moment in which lots of people met for the first time. They formed instant friendships. This was very important. It was important to collaborate on projects and build something more powerful. Jessica, I just need to understand if I can make this presentation. I can share my screen. I will try to do it right now. So please, if you can, if you need to give me clearance for that or something. I don't think so. I think you can do it. Okay, let me put full screen. Now, yes. I think Lucas already did a presentation, an initial presentation. I'm a speech therapist. I work for this project since 2020. I've been editing. I started editing from my entry point was the university. This kind of project tends to be an entry point for many people. I was an organizer of Wiki project here in health, something related to hearing health, speech therapies and pathologies, etc. We used computer models to and artificial intelligence to build on that. I will let Tulio speak a little more now. Do you want to introduce yourself right now, Tulio? So yes, introduce yourself. My name is Tulio Franklin. I started working on Wiki in 2016. I took part in projects with Calibra, then Calilu. It was extremely important. It helped us understand how could we use our skills. I think my sound's a little bad. I will try to speak closer, and then I will speak a little more a bit about me and my projects. It's back to you, Hector. Thank you, Tulio. Now it's improved a lot. And Hector, if you could speak a little louder and a little slower to make it easier for the interpreters. Thank you. Perfect. So our objective was to introduce some examples of activities that we developed from collaboration from Calibra. Our objective is to establish some dialogues and conversations. So we're going to leave some minutes for questions. Now we're going to present two projects in which we worked, me and Tulio, recently. These projects, they complemented each other. And that happened from that network of collaboration that Calibra and then Calilu built. Is my audio okay for everyone? Okay. The first project in which we worked was this course developed in Wikiversity. It was a course for us to teach people on how to use georeferencing in health in Wikidata. We looked at the Brazilian reality in terms of data availability. The data exists, non-structuralized data from the Brazilian government. We wanted to make them as much available as they could be. So we looked at the Brazilian reality, the Latin American reality, and from this reality, we tried to understand and see the possibilities for these Wikimedia projects. From one side, we saw and we found a lot of data, but they were hard to get. That's what this project is about. It was about making this data more available, making this data modeled, a project to foster data curation and data modeling. From that, we organized something with Wikimedia Brazil through the Wiki Apoia, Wiki Support program. We created this course to form Wikimedians and people interested in Brazil to work with data in the public health system data using Wikidata. I think it's important to mention that something that really marked was the methodology, ways of evaluating and iterate the projects beyond the collaboration network. So how to best understand the mechanisms, the project, I think it was one of the most important things, and also something that Tulio is going to mention later on, the documentation of this project. I think things from Lucas and from Adriani, they both told us a lot about it. This was like hardwired into our memories. We developed the SWOT analysis, and through which we analyze the strong points of our project, the levels of threats and the risks. We needed to put this both in English and Portuguese. The opportunities that we could have with this project, and also the threats. So from this methodology and other ways of evaluating things, we could implement these activities in a more assertive manner. Just to give you some more context about these the activities. The course was developed in Wikiversity. Later on, we had a page. We're going to put in the Commons a link to Commons in which every element of this project is accessible. So we're doing this documentation process. This course was developed in the university and composed by 6 lessons. These are the 4 most important ones. The first one is about the Brazilian Unified Health System, the SUS, and doing this relationship with the data, the health data, and how to put this data in open knowledge platforms, for example, OpenStreetMap, how to use this geo-referral mechanism, and with part of the documentation of the presentation, we to the right you can see a presentation about our an activity in Bogota, Colombia. Now I hand over to Tulio. He's going to present this Wiki project Brazil schools. He's going to talk about the process of involving an information network. Think of problems, think of solutions for problems, the potential that Wikimedia projects have, how to involve the community to solve these problems. Thank you very much, Hector. Can you hear me well now? Great. Okay, very good. So Hector already told a lot of things that could help us understand this project, that can help us understand this project, this process. As I said earlier, a lot of people started to edit Wikipedia alone. People would have, they had their projects, their personal projects, their personal intentions, and I think what changes our reality a lot as Wikipedians, as Wikipedia editors, and our platforms is this sense of community, this power of leadership that in this specific case that we had, the Calibra and then Calilu, it was potentialized. So Wiki Project Brazil Schools is going to be an example, and I hope that people who are here watching us build on the idea of this project and what the project is. Let's understand how this project can be used in your realities with several different topics, regardless of these topics being connected to schools or not. This project is started on my behalf as a traveler around Brazil. There are a lot of schools with very distinct realities. Is my sound low or is it okay? It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so carrying on, we have a very big reality in Brazil with very good schools and schools in precarious conditions. We have schools in rural areas. In some countries, especially Europe, maybe the concept of a rural school is like just not a school, but here there is a whole different context. Next slide, please. So from this reality, this Brazilian reality, in order to understand, we started mapping out the location of these schools. But like we said before, we have a country, a continent-sized country with an extensive area, but even a small country, it could be a lot of work for one person alone to do this. It's a lot of things for one person alone to do. So right now that we have our skills, we develop leadership skills, and I want to make it clear that leadership is not in the sense of being the leader or the owner of a project. It's more about being the starter. This page is an example of leadership because I was mapping out these schools alone in the past. In the next slide, I'm going to speak a bit. I would be restricted to my area, to my reality, but other people could start this project in a different way, and then we would have like a loss of creativity because each person will be their own project. So what I want to pass on to you here is that a leader can be somebody who starts something, someone who initiates this process of creating a structure for their own personal project. And I speak here in a very relaxed way that we're not talking about creating a whole structure in a university of a project. Sometimes starting a project, it's about simply starting a page. And we're going to have people who are going to help with this. I'm not the best person to create a page, but I'm very good with geographical data. So when I found Hector through Calibra, I think I would hardly ever meet him without this project. So taking part of this project in these projects together made us able to create these projects through leadership. And this opened the possibility for more people to join in, and then this project would obviously become organic and would could be implemented at scale. In the next slide, these are the people who are leading this project. In this case, we have Hector, we have Rafael, and let me make it clear that Hector, for example, he works in the health area here in health. Rafael is a professor, is an elementary school teacher in Brazil, and I am a geoprocessing analyst. So we are people who do, I work with coordinates and people. So if we stop to think of it, we wouldn't work in this project together because none of these people here are, they would work in schools specifically. But another thing we want to make it clear here is do not limit yourselves by your academic background or the academic background of your other colleagues. We should have the capacity to work on that. I know how to map things. Next slide, please. I love this map because it shows very evident things. First of all, in Brazil, we had schools. Let me make it clear. This is a map that registers the schools that we have mapped out on Wikidata. So even if you don't work with Wikidata, you heard of it. It is the Wikimedia database. We were limited to the southeastern region, basically. For those who don't know it, just take a look at the southern part of Brazil, a little to the right. That's where we have the southeast region of Brazil. That's the region that traditionally has great universities and a large number of people editing Wikipedia. Thank you, Hector, for pointing it out. It's great to have people there, of course, but we also had this limitation. Few schools mapped for this limited reality. Um, we saw a process that needed to amplify this project. So thanks to this project here in Brazil, Wikimedia Brazil, the Brazilian chapter, we had an activity in Mato Grosso. Hector, please point Mato Grosso where it is. This was the last state that I did in my motorhome trip around Brazil. So we talked a lot about it, and we did a collaborative initiative to map out these schools. But this is the first project. Just to finish my presentation because my time is up, I think I want to show. We started with this project. Uh, we saw it was possible to do this mapping out here, this massive mapping out, but then another need came through. There's no use in mapping out this data in this region, for example, schools, if we don't, without the process of improving, correcting, and verifying this data. So uh, we can verify these things The school project came so we can do what? So we could have more hands working on this project, and now we have more people who are interested as well, and there are opportunities for people who do not want to take part in the project, but they can still add it in about the schools where they study without the need to be officially assigned to this project. What do I want to say with that is that from the moment that we started to do something, we were that sparking flame. This could spread around Brazil. Next slide, because I'm finishing my time here. These are projects that for the academic area, we had this presentation in Salvador, a city in Brazil, from WikiCon. Rafael was our representative, and he spoke to over 150 people about this project. So again, if we didn't have the initiative to create this page, a very simple page, and do this mapping in a very simple way, we wouldn't be presenting this right now. So more people in Brazil, including people around the world, could use this project. But then you say, okay, Tulio, I don't want to work with schools. Can you realize that actually this is just one idea of what we could do in the sense of you have geographical coordinates, you have a topic, we can do something, we can do an activity, we can create something with the community, with the possibility. So here we also have what we've been doing, including in the educational area. This is this is about your curriculum and about the academic area. Of course, if I'm promoting this, it's because I want to attract more people, draw more people from other areas. Well, I thank you for the possibility of being here speaking to you. I hope in the end we have some minutes to exchange some ideas. And again, don't limit yourselves by the educational topic. This is the possibility of initiating activities thanks to Calibra and Calilu. Uh, uh, with these activities, we were no longer just editors, but also people who could encourage other people to edit and to participate. I think it's amazing that we can do like very specific and spot on edits. So creating something about a school in the countryside of Brazil that I would never go to. Now I can talk about that school. So I hope this can encourage you to initiate your own projects. And I thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hector and Tulio. We have very few minutes to close this session, so there is a question in the chat. I don't know, Tulio and Hector, would you like to uh, answer? I would like to know a bit more about the project. So please access the presentation. You can read the documentation of the project there in a more direct way, but let me simplify that. How was our workflow? We pick the data from the tables, especially educational, and especially the hearing health data from Ministry of Health. We compiled and treated this data, and then we added them to Wikidata. As Studio mentioned, we not only downloaded the data and put them on Wikidata, but we also verified and validated the data. This was the basic workflow that we organized in this project. Okay.
Sorry, sorry for okay. So just a quick one. I didn't actually sign up, and I didn't log in before editing the Padlet. So now I have signed up with my account. Can I still edit the project that I submitted already in my name? So okay.
So I wanted to thank you for the participation to all the Brazilian communities from Guinea-Bissau, from Portugal, and all the communities from India that participated, and also always the African participants from many countries. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lucas, Tulio, and Hector and Adriani for the collaboration in this session and these great presentations. And now is the moment, now the mess moment. You can all, the recording is stopped. You can all open your microphones and say bye, open your cameras, and you have a nice weekend, you all. And I was very happy to share this space with you.